All right, guys, I'm super excited to be here today with Tyler Prince. We have been interviewing some amazing entrepreneurs, some fitness, lifestyle entrepreneurs. We've been talking to a lot of podcasters and people that I feel like are really making a big impact in their industry. Because as you know, I am an entrepreneur that has numerous successful businesses. And for years, I've kind of hidden all the things that I've done, but over 15 years, I've been able to accumulate major wealth and success without people knowing, because my main job is being a physician. And throughout that time, I've met some amazing people that are really impacting all of their followers and making a huge difference, especially with digital social media, in being able to expand their businesses and become super successful. Because nowadays, you can become really successful by building a following, building a brand online, and really just being a nice person that wants to make a big impact. And so I brought Tyler Prince on today to talk about a few things that's going on with him. Not only is he a model, he has an online fitness platform, and also just like a lot of different things that I think is a lot of influence. The other thing too is he has a really great personality. So you guys will see the big smile, the good looks. It's not just that. There's a personality behind that has allowed him to sort of explode. And I foresee him to be super successful in various industries in the future. So you guys are going to get to know him sooner than later. So welcome.
Thank you so much.
Thanks for coming on.
That was probably the greatest introduction I've ever had in my life. So
that's
thank
great.
you.
That makes me happy. So tell everybody a little bit about you. We have met for the first time, but I've done a little bit of research, and I like to ask really a lot of questions that, inspire others. That's the goal. So my goal is to talk about some of the things that you've done that's making you successful, that would inspire people that either wanting to work with you or want to sort of be representative of the things that you talk about, as well as maybe be one of your clients. So tell people a little bit about who you are, what you do, tell them about your Instagram, and then also how you've become more successful recently.
Of course. Well, I feel like that's always like a loaded question, because
that's okay.
You want to just
go where you want to go.
Just keep going. So a little bit about myself. I'm from New Jersey, came to LA about 6 years ago. Honestly, just with a dream that's completely different than what I am doing now.
What was the dream then?
Back then, I was managing an artist, and I always wanted to work in the music industry. My dream was to essentially own my own label one day, help artists, just be able to navigate through the industry. And at the time, I was working with a young rapper that I discovered. We happened to have gone to grade school together. And I was working with him, a couple of his friends, and I helped him grow his listening base, or his followers, all the way up to 100,000, and was throwing shows in South by Southwest in Texas, and kind of fell into the career path I'm in now during the pandemic.
How did you get successful in that growth with him? What were you doing that was propelling that forward?
So it was actually twofold. Part of me actually always attributes it to my 9-to-5. I was working in sales as well, so trying to pay my own bills by, working the 9-to-5, but then also to fuel the dream. So from there, I was talking to people that were at CEO level, COO level, CIO level. So I had to know how to talk the talk. And when you're doing that, it kind of breaks that fear to speak to a high level record exec, someone that can really change your life. So was able to just navigate, networked a lot through the New York area, as well as it was the early days of social media. So this is what I said about 7 years ago. So Instagram was still kind of just starting up. TikTok was a brand new thing. And that was something I really tried to focus on, trying to grow his social media.
What were you doing on at that time? So, because my followers know me from social media specifically. I have a lot of clients that come in and have watched every video I have on YouTube. I've been doing actually social media now for almost 20 years. Actually, my Facebook came up with a thing the other day that said it was 18 years since I've been doing my first post on Facebook. And when I started in my field, almost no one was doing live surgeries, showing patients full stories. Like even when the day after a surgery, they're bleeding, they're swollen, and we're showing that whole transition. And it so really inspired a lot of people to like watch and follow almost like a TV show or an actor that they like love, you know, or a model that they're following, that type of thing. So that was what I had done to really grow it. And that's why so many people follow us now. What did you do during that time of the early days of social to build this wrapper up?
Of course. So now it seems pretty standard.
I know, but that's the thing I want to say, because it was probably new and different at that time.
Exactly. So we were doing like all of his music videos. We were making sure was being placed on social media. We were doing a lot of teasers for the new music videos. We were just being extremely consistent. Every time we would go down to South by Southwest, we would use those opportunities to network with different artists, post, you know, the journey. We had our camera guy with us, and we were doing literally like a full day in the life of
Lifestyle videos.
Yep, the lifestyle videos, even following myself just as the manager. And eventually, once I started throwing shows, I wanted to kind of show people the behind the scenes of that. So, you know,
now if you go to Netflix, that's what the Shawn Mendes story,
Exactly.
J-Lo, like they all have videos like that.
Exactly.
And at that time, no one even thought about that. It was almost like the real life reality.
Exactly. And it's funny because that's kind of how we ended up separating, was because he kept talking about how he wanted to remain authentic. And I was like, dude, you just need to be attacking these apps and posting as much as possible, because we don't know what these apps are going to be. So I remember when TikTok had launched, I was like, just start rapping on TikTok. Just spit a freestyle, do whatever. And back then you could do whatever you wanted on TikTok. And now seeing what you could have been, I'm like, wow, you probably could have been
I followed
a huge
this
artist.
one guy that literally goes on Hollywood and pulls over someone and says, do you know how to rap?
Yep.
He says, I'll give you like $1,000 if you can rap for 1 minute right now.
Exactly.
And like some of the people that he's pulled that have like really freestyled, they're successful now. A couple of them got full like deals.
Oh, yeah.
Just from the videos that they watched that got over 1 million views.
Oh, yeah.
It's crazy what social can do.
Oh, yeah.
And that's why when you started at that time, it was probably similar. Like I started mine probably, I think 2007 was when I started. So it's about 18 years or so that no one was really doing that. There were two surgeons actually in the United States that were doing, one in Florida, one in New York. And then I was in New York and then California. And they were doing more Snapchat. And I was like, you know, the people that are on are younger. TikTok didn't exist. Instagram was just starting up. And I was like, I feel like I need the higher end, the people that are really into this long-term taking care of themselves, wellness, and, you know, doing surgeries to look better and feel better at an earlier age. So I went to Instagram.
Yes.
And those guys became very popular. And the funny thing is now their businesses are very successful, but they make a fraction of what I actually bring in.
Oh, yeah.
And in mine, it's Instagram, Facebook, and my website that have these detailed stories of expertise and skill and technique. And that's how we use digital social to show, you know, long-term taking care of people, long-term results and stuff. So that's why I was saying when you first started, you were going to TikTok, you were trying to show like this freestyling, what you could do and stuff. Like that would have drawn so many people to that. I mean, that could have led to a producer, that could have led to a record label, that could have led to, I mean, who knows where you could go at this point.
And I was going to say with you, it just provides that trust. You've been doing it for so long. It's just like, why would I go to anybody else?
Exactly.
Because I know
when you have that,
what the end
when you
goal is gonna
have
be.
that sort of credibility that's built through the consistency of posting, and showing not just posts, because now there's AI. I don't even know it's real sometimes. I watched some video yesterday of a guy like being thrown out of a car, and I thought it was real. And I show like a bunch of people. I'm like, is this real or is this like real? Because that guy landed. I didn't see any blood or anything. And they're like, no, that's one of these games or something. I was like, it's literally impossible now to be able to, like, you could freestyle on AI. You could just type in a script and someone can do that stuff. So it's a little scary where it's going to go, but the authenticity is through the consistency, and not only showing yourself, it's showing everything you do in your job and outside of your job, as well as the people that are with you, the loyalty, the trust, the care, because they feel like if I'm going to do surgery on them and I'm, you know, that this nice and this giving to all these people, I'm going to be the same when it comes to their customer service level with them.
Oh, yeah.
You know, so I think that's where somebody that does like music, if they can show that too, it would really increase the amount of people that want to support them.
For sure. And that's something I'm even learning right now as I'm doing my own personal social media journey. So back then I put no focus on myself, but really was building someone else's life for them. And then you kind of get burned, when things don't go the right way. You're kind of like left holding the bag, holding nothing, where I was investing my own money into his career. But I always look at it as a blessing, because I would never have just taken that jump and started doing what I'm doing now. So it started off with me just having this dream of, everyone kept telling me, what do you do in fitness? What do you do in fitness? You have this crazy physique. And I'm kind of sitting there thinking to myself, well, I'm like, I kind of work at a desk and I manage an artist. But it's just like, dude, you need to be in front of the camera. So during the pandemic, towards the end of 2020, I came across this guy shooting a spec commercial for Nike. And at the time, I had no idea what a spec commercial was. I just saw he was casting an older Asian guy to play a father. And I took that as my sign. Well, I'm not old, I'm not Asian, but let me email this guy anyways.
Listen, you miss every chance you don't take.
Exactly. And he saw my email. He was like, let's grab dinner. Literally at that dinner, we built out an entire campaign that he was like, what brand, speaks to you? He was like, Nike is a little big. Let's go for, Under Armour. So we literally went to the outlets like the next week, bought all this Under Armour stuff. I was like, this is your time to invest in yourself. I think I gave this man, I had no idea who he was, like $1,000. And I was just like, to make the commercial.
Why did you think he could do this?
Honestly, it was because he believed in me. He said he saw me. He was just like, you have a great face. You have, a nice charm. You have this light about you that I think is really going to attract people to what you can bring to the table. And he's just like, they might want to pick this up. They might want to reshoot it. They might use it as is. Or he's like, if anything, you have a really cool reel.
Yeah, you could use it for Instagram.
Exactly. So
had he done other things before for people like that?
That was the first time ever, and it was November 1st, 2020.
Okay.
So from there, he starts sending me a couple like the shots, and I'm like, wow, this looks really cool. He showed it to a friend, and a friend of his was like, does this guy act? He has this like light about him. He seems like he'd be a great actor. And it just lit a light bulb in my head. A couple of my friends out here that I met, they were all into acting and taking classes. So I asked one of them, I was like, how did you get into acting? They were like, oh, I just jumped in the class. I was like, okay, cool. And they're like, yeah, I think one of them had a manager. And I was like, okay, cool. I just went ahead and started applying for different gigs, different opportunities.
Did you have an agent or anything?
No agent, no manager.
On your own?
On my own. But it's weird how things work out. Spending about 7 years managing an artist, it allowed me to know how to speak that language. So I knew how to...
This is an example. I want to point this out because I talk about this a lot on our other podcasts, that many people have to go through a lot of failures,
yes,
and a lot of losses. And there's a difference between a failure and a loss, and I'll explain that too, before they can become successful. And you don't realize it at the time because you're going to think it's, why are they doing this to me, or how did this affect me? But then often the learning experiences or the connections that are obtained after that actually lead you to somewhere bigger and better.
Oh, yeah.
And so here's an example here where, because of the experience you had, I don't know how it was, but the time you invested, whether it was money, personal belief, experience, et cetera, you spent, managing this artist or whatever and doing this social, allowed you to really learn enough to be, and if not more, to be able to pursue the things you're doing now, which make you more successful.
For sure.
So a lot of people will say, the billionaire becomes a billionaire because he loses millions, or the millionaire becomes a millionaire because they lose hundreds of thousands.
Yep.
It's how you become successful is through those. I've had numerous times in my life where I've had people steal from me. I've had people, I even had an executive, a leader in my business that for 6 months was actually working for another doctor in my building, not letting me know, giving him all of the things that I had, all my protocols, all my systems, all of it, literally gave him everything and then quit, and took 6 months worth of my materials to another doctor who then stole clients as well as staff of mine. And so people do those things, but because of it, I learned so many things that made me so much more successful in the future. At that time, it feels so much more, but now you look at what you've accomplished and you could see it's so much more.
Oh yeah.
So in terms of knowing that, now you went into the acting.
Yep.
What happened then with acting?
What happened? Honestly, the first role I booked. It was a background role. And I remember sending that email and I was just like, hey, is there any opportunity for lines? The guy emailed me back. He was just like, hey, look, it's background, but you never know what can happen. I start out in background, and then you get an opportunity. Just by chance, I ended up getting bumped to a supporting role. Film ended up being a lot bigger than I thought. A bunch of actors that I remember seeing when I was growing up, they were in it. Funny enough, my childhood crush, uh, she was I mean, obviously she's much older now, but she was starring in that movie as well. So I was just like, wow, it's crazy the way things work out.
Yeah.
And from there, I just hit the ground running, just continuing to apply for anything I saw. And I mean, not to like flex like, oh man, I did all this on my own, but was able to land a Nike campaign, was able to land a billboard that was all over LA, right on 3rd Street, right over the Sweet Fin. Like you just saw on my face, I'm doing like a boxing thing and it was for Postmates. So I just got an opportunity to work with so many great people, so many talented folks, so many great creators, so many talented actors. There's a scene, granted it was background, but there's a scene in Dahmer where you actually see me. Great show, front and center, and that was such a cool experience because that was my first time on
What was
major
the scene?
set.
What was the scene?
So if anyone
remember now.
for everyone watching, episode 9, minute mark 43, I believe.
Did you run in and say I thought it was the one that killed, or I thought you were going to be the kidnapper or whatever?
Yeah. So there's a scene where
I remember.
he gets stabbed, and everyone that watched it like, dude, I thought you were going to be the one to stab him because you're just like kind of just sitting right over his shoulder. But it's when he's in prison in the chapel and the guy stabs him in the neck. I'm right behind him. So,
nice.
and it was just that
Show that on here. Great show.
right? Such a great show. And it was crazy because every scene we shot, I was always in line of the camera. And this one guy, he happened to be on, he was in Hancock back with Will Smith. And he was like, dude, I ended up getting bumped to a co-star role in that because I just got picked out of everyone in background. And he was like, I thought my career was going to change. He was like, I kind of, got a little too big of a head and it didn't end up happening that way. But he was like, one thing I've learned from this industry, the camera always finds who's next. And so I just always held that with me as just like my ray of sunshine, just to be like, you know what? Your time is coming. It's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when.
Well, that's actually really good to say. So nowadays, I agree with the sort of camera finds. It's just funny though. Nowadays, the camera is what everybody's holding.
Oh yeah.
And so I used to say, food eats first. This was way before people started doing all the food stuff. I do tons of food reviews and stuff. And now everybody does that, so everyone has cameras now, even to the point where people are telling people not to film them because everyone's filming consistently, like in the gym and, when you go out and stuff like that. But I do think that's how people find success. I also think that's how people find the people they relate to.
Yeah.
There's some people where you don't even have to be famous. They're just relatable. Like I followed this one Instagram of a woman who's a little overweight and she jokes about it because she has like 7 kids and she cooks on a very strict budget. Right. But every day it's literally the mom who's saying, here's my dinner that I'm making for my kids my 7 kids on a reduced budget, and like the amount of comments, the amount of people, whether it's healthy or not, which most of the time it's not. Yeah. Sometimes it's literally her going to McDonald's and just divvying up the Happy Meals, literally to the point where I actually watched one recently and they had a Pokemon one.
Yep.
And so where did my fiance and I go last week, right after one of the nicest dinners I've ever been to? McDonald's to get the Pokemon Happy Meal in my Rolls Royce. And everyone, and loved it. Literally the guy at the counter gave me a high five and I gave him a $20 tip because I was like, your job is really hard. It's risky with those sliding windows. You never know what people are going to do nowadays. And I was like, you deserve a great tip, and he was so thankful. But it was actually really funny that I saw that from this woman's Instagram that I follow because I was like, I think that's amazing that she's able to support 7 kids and not have that much money to be able to do it, So there's always somebody that's going to relate to you. So that's why I always laugh when I have like haters that write stuff about me, even on my Instagram and stuff like that. Like, why are you a doctor and you have your shirt off? I'm like, because I relate to the people that want to take care of themselves.
For sure.
Like there are clients that come to me because they want to be fit and they want to live longer, or they need to look their best because they're like you on camera representing themselves to clients, or whether or not they just want to look good and feel good and live their longest life. That's like what I do. Half of what I do is peptide therapy so people live longer, managing hormones as you get a little bit older. I have clients where they think everything's great, and you test their bloods for testosterone and it's like 200 when it should be 800 to 1,000, and they don't realize that's why they didn't sleep, that's why they don't have a good sex life, that's why their hair is falling out, that's why they have acne. They don't realize like all of these things are effective for internal health. And so I do a lot of that stuff, but that's also why then I make my videos of me working out and showing off. Like people are like, we don't want to see a doctor that has no shirt on. I was like, but yet you go watch OnlyFans and see these people that are doing stuff for money, for sex. I'm helping you show that you can live your best life and live the longest possible and have a job like me where I work literally 14 to 16 hours a day, as a doctor. So it's really interesting what the camera can do because the patients that actually do come to me, they respect that a lot. And because they know I'm so meticulous and so skilled at what I do, someone like you where your face or your body is so important on a screen, who you trust it to is going to be very important.
And I was just going to say, honestly, for me, I would love a fit doctor because I know that person knows what they're doing, the discipline that it takes to exercise every single day. How many days a week do you just feel like laying in bed or doing nothing?
I tried not to even think about that, but I did have that once or twice this past week. And most people, it's every day.
Yeah.
Most people, they wake up. Actually, the best video I had last year and the whole year was, I think, the day or day before a day of New Year's, because I made a video. I was in my car at 4:30 in the morning. I'm like, I'm going to the gym right now, and I literally do not want to be going right now. But I'm going because I want to live longer. I know that when I'm done with this workout, I'm going to feel great, and I'm going to be able to make the day of this big surgery I had at the end of the year be super successful. And I'm doing it not just for me, I'm doing it for my client. My client that's going to be on an operating room table in a few hours, and I have to be the most focused possible. And if I just sleep in and I don't, get the blood flow and get my mind going, I'm not going to be as good.
But you know how you also just said, you do it to be relatable. So you're also doing it for everyone watching your podcast, watching your stories, watching your Instagram, wherever you're posting that, you're doing it for all of them as well. And that's one of the things, actually kind of how I got into taking fitness more serious. And
because that was the next step I wanted to ask you was, I've always been fit. I was a gymnast, but I was very skinny.
For sure.
Then I got really bulky when I was in medical school and college. I had actually the 38-inch waist at one point. I would actually sweat. I didn't even tell him, my videographer, you guys, just so you know who's making this, I didn't even tell him that I used to sweat when I would walk up a few flights of stairs because I had so much weight on me.
Wow.
I couldn't even reach over completely to grab the seat belt for my car. I would actually struggle. At one point I couldn't even scratch my ass. I was so overweight. I was like 240 pounds at 5'6", but I thought I was great. I was eating double cheeseburgers. I'm not kidding you. Double cheeseburgers. I still love them. After my workouts, thinking that was high protein.
Yeah.
Right? But this is in like 2010.
Yeah, before we had all these influencers or people telling us what's good.
You watch online, like I follow carnivore diet. I take 40 something vitamins. And for those, I know I've talked about this now twice in podcast about the Don't Die documentary by Brian Johnson. But if you watch it, it's the extremist view of how you can live longer, which is the supplements he takes, the IVs he does, the workouts, the food, how he eats like perfect. And no one's gonna be able to do that in real life. They don't have the money or the time, but it gives you an idea of what you actually can do to achieve like being so much more fit. So when I realized I was a little out of shape, I started doing boxing, I started doing cardio, and I started eating a lot better. And since then I've kind of done it, but it was only until about 2-3 years ago that I took it like really serious. Now my people know, like I get up at 4:30 in the morning and go to the gym. I do cardio. Like today I already did a workout, already did cardio for an hour and a half. And while I'm on cardio, I'm still working and doing stuff, conference calls, etc. And then I work out again later tonight. So this is my Mondays, double day. But they know that I do that. And my patients though that are having surgery and maybe they're not like you where they're just super ripped all the time, regardless of genetics or the amount. They work out hard, but they're not able to for whatever reasons. Maybe there's hormones, genetic. Some people, honestly, their girls, their legs are just so big genetically. It's just in their family. They have the cellulite. They don't have the shaping. Or guys where their muscles just don't have the six pack. Like they just don't have that. They're flat. Or you look at some people that are super fit. They have to be like very low body fat percent
For sure.
to look their best. But if I come in and do a little bit of my sculpting, which is what I specialize in, 6-packs and stuff, I can give people that extra boost so that when they work out with you or they follow your plan, they look significantly better. And we actually posted one on Instagram today. You can go look at it. Actually, let me pull it up so you can see.
Oh, that'd be
this
sick.
is an example of someone super fit that I think you could do a similar thing with your workout routines. Like, look, this is what he looked like before. And this is what he looks like now.
Holy.
And that guy didn't cheat by having a lipo.
No.
This guy, and I'll show you, I mean, the camera, I know they're not going to zoom in, but I'll give this picture to the camera later. You see it? So this is a fit guy, you know, right here. He's already fit, but look at afterwards, after taking it to the next level.
That's amazing.
See it here. I'll send it to you. But this is what we do with not only guys, but women too. And when they see that, they're like, you know what? Maybe all I need is a consult to do either a surgery or get on the peptide plan or an anti-aging plan. And then they make me look even better.
Yeah.
Because once they see that, they're going to the gym all the time.
Oh, yeah.
They're getting serious. That investment they made in themselves was not just that cosmetic procedure. It influenced how their brain thinks, how they want to look and feel. And then they get to the point where they look great. They want to live the best life.
Oh, yeah.
So that's what I was going to ask you was now you're comfortable like in front of the camera, you're like using digital to become successful, you're doing the acting and stuff. How did the fitness part go?
The fitness part is, I feel like fitness has always been a part of my life.
People, did you always look like this?
No, not at all.
Like? We need pictures of when he didn't look like that. Okay.
I've shown you.
Okay, we need to post that though on the blog, on the podcast, because that will show people then that it's not all what people see. They all think that it's easy, right?
Yes.
They don't realize that this is like, I'm 44. I've been working out for like 20 something years, that it's consistency, it's discipline. And that's why a lot of the people that I follow that are successful and really fit, I'm like, I want to follow them so much more because you know what it takes to actually eat right, look good. With even with food, you have to spend more on better quality foods and stuff. So you need to be more successful too. So there's a lot more in just looking good.
Oh yeah. I mean, I just literally this weekend, instead of doing content, I ended up calling all of my clients personally and was just on the phone with them for at least an hour each and just talking them through just their check-ins. And one of the guys, he was saying his mood and energy was really low. And he's also like, a little frustrated.
One of the guys too that we need to talk to.
Definitely.
It could be hormones, could be peptides.
For sure. And
also food.
But one thing I did notice with him is I was like, you're getting only 5 to 6 hours of sleep.
That's low.
Exactly. And I know you just mentioned the testosterone there, which probably all plays into the sleep.
What does he do for work?
He is an engineer.
Okay. So does he work long hours?
I believe so. So I'm pretty sure he's up like around, I think maybe 5, 6
o'clock.
Is
he just sitting all day?
I think he's doing a lot of sitting.
So
sometimes he's on site.
I see that a lot because I did my fellowship in San Francisco at the time when tech was really starting to become big. And many of those tech engineers and people that sit at a computer all day, this is a common thing that I hear from them all the time. The sleep, the tiredness because they're looking at computers all day, or their focus is not on interactions with as many people. It's more of independent things. So their testosterone levels go down if they don't do the right types of workouts, if they're not eating the right types of food, like more protein and, carnivore does cheese and protein and stuff to increase has cholesterol. So it increases your testosterone levels. But there's other things too, like neurotransmitters in your brain can go down, and mental focus can actually limit your ability to sleep.
Yep.
So if your brain is always on, and then you accidentally go to sleep really quickly at night, it's not going to be able to do that.
Exactly.
So there are other things that we do with peptides, like obviously the supplement we were talking about. I'm coming out with a new supplement next week. It's called Vitasculpt, but it's made for a little bit of weight reduction, but it has 2 things in it that actually stimulate your brain to have more focus, better sleep, and actually improves hair growth.
Oh, wow.
One of them's a fish oil that's a very strong one, similar to what people would say is like kind of salmon oil, but it's a lot more concentrated. It goes into the neurotransmitters in your brain. And then another peptide called BPC that's naturally in your stomach, but actually goes to joints, it goes to brain, it helps prevent Alzheimer's, it does helps inflammation in the gut, it helps inflammation in joints, and helps muscle repair. We obviously tested it. The injectable versions are better.
Yes.
But for somebody like that, let's say maybe doesn't want to do all those things to start, that's a booster while they're doing their lifestyle modifications. So I'm sure you're on them and be like, okay, look, you're not sleeping that amount of time. Now we need to increase that. Or maybe honestly, if we do, like, let's say a peptide consult that I would do with him, part of the things I would say to him would be, because you're turned on so much all day with your job, you need to have much earlier of a slowdown period at night, you know, and the types of foods that you eat during that time, or even stopping eating at that time point and just drinking water and rehydrating and electrolytes and stuff may be very useful. That those types of guys actually do really well with IV therapies too. So that's another thing that we do in my office very frequently, but I virtually discuss this with people. IV nutrition, such as there's something called NAD. We posted a video recently, actually has a lot of people going crazy on it right now because these influencers are trying to argue with me on different types of NAD, which is, okay, it's fine. I'm a doctor. I understand, but I'll go through it. Like sometimes, you know, to be as serious, but there's NAD is a coenzyme in your body that stimulates metabolic processes. You need it for energy. It's formed in your mitochondrial cells, but it's used in all parts of your body. As you get older, 35 on, you lose a significant amount of it. By 65, almost 80% of your production of NAD is gone, which is why people are lethargic. Their brain function doesn't go as well. They don't metabolize food that well. We can change that if you supplement it way earlier in life. And so a lot of people like you that are talking like brain fog and not being able to sleep well and not getting results from your workout routines, it may not be you. It may be the fact that their enzyme levels are low and they need replacement. You know, and like, is this guy taking supplements?
As far as I know, probably just the standard proteins,
even
maybe
that and
a vitamin,
multivitamin. It's just not enough. So I think like those are the things where I love to collaborate with people that are in fitness, because I'm like, look, I can make you look even better. Right? Like if your clients, you have a great routine, but if they don't have the body to be able to metabolize that routine, they're just not going to see the results of it. Or sometimes like I'll have clients where they're working out great, but they can't see their six pack. They have a little bit here. I do a little lipo, flatten them, they see it now, and the amount they push in the gym significantly harder is so much more.
And honestly, that's kind of how I started. I mean, I didn't get
it's not cheating.
lipo. But no, I didn't get lipo.
Okay.
I was gonna say
I was like, oh shit, exclusive.
Yeah, no, right. Here's the breaking story.
Lipo.
I did not have lipo. No, but I just
He's
was
not against it. No, I'm not.
I'm not. Because I was just a very skinny kid growing up.
I was like that too. I was 130 pounds when I went to college.
Literally almost the exact weight.
And really hairy, just so you guys know. I'm a Jew, and I was like so hairy you couldn't even see my skin. So when I went to residency, I'm like, this hair is gross, and you don't see the muscles. So I did laser hair removal, just so you guys know. So if you want to change something about yourself, you can, and it's okay.
Yeah.
That's what I was trying to say.
No, of course.
So if you were skinny, what did you do to, you know?
So for me, it was funny because my aunt actually, because I was a relatively lazy kid, but I was a very big goal setter. So in high school, my goal was you need to become varsity. We didn't have football. We were an all-guy school in New Jersey, no football. They said they'll get girls before football.
Very weird.
Very strange. And what's more weird is that my senior year, they announced they're bringing a football team. So I'm like, where's the ladies at? So, but because they literally said, they're like, we will get girls before football. Yeah, right. So I did track. I was fast, but I was actually one of the fastest freshmen, but I ended up doing pole vaulting. So I pole vaulted and ran the 100 and 200. And it will always stick with me. This one coach at a camp I went to before my senior year, because like we had a really pretty solid pole vaulting group. It was 3 of us. And we went to this camp, and this guy, he trained Olympians. And he was like, the fastest person I seen run down the runway like that was Sergey Bubka, who had the world record, I think, at the time. And he was just like, if you can just add a little bit of muscle, you would go, he's like, you could go probably to the Olympics. And I was just like, whoa, okay. Didn't think too much of it. Tried lifting, you know, but you didn't have anyone teaching you how to lift. And that was way before social media.
Online videos.
Yeah.
Because now you can watch so many. I mean, I can't even believe this. There's 16, 18-year-olds that look like they're on steroids.
Oh my God.
Maybe they are actually. And they've been working out forever. Like I didn't even start exercising until I was 23.
Oh yeah.
And I was like, I was a gymnast, but there wasn't like real weight training like there is now. And I think it's all because of, again, the camera.
Exactly.
People want to look now. People are caring more about their physique and talking about lifestyle and fitness. I mean, I've been surprised at the number 18 to 22-year-olds that I've seen talking about healthy lifestyles, which I think is great. If people are willing to do that, to talk about like non-processed foods, non-seed oils, non-chemicals and stuff in food, like I think that's a huge benefit for our aging and stuff in long term, because I always said we need to be really scared about the future, because online social basically tells people that you don't need education. It basically says you can just watch my videos, use AI, and you can know everything, right? That makes me scared. Where are the doctors going to come from? Where are lawyers? Like, where are like people you need to be to be educated?
No, I 100%.
You know, I get scared.
Well, everyone's a doctor now because they got YouTube. So
exactly, I get really scared. I watched this video of this girl. The professor sent them this thing in class where they had to watch these videos and answer these questions. And she did in like 5 minutes. They're like, how did you do that? And she like pulled up the AI program that watched the videos and summarized it to her. She read the summaries and then answered the questions herself. But because the summaries were so good, it answered all the questions, you know, basically. And he's like, that's against rules. And she's like, well, how is it against the rules? Because he's like, I told you to watch the videos. And she's like, I did. I watched the AI, watched the videos and summarized it to me. That's crazy. And so real life is not like that. Exactly. You know, real life is what you're talking about, where someone says to you, you could be great. You could be so successful. And this is what I love about some online, where you have people like Gary Vee, or you have people like Hormozi, you have people like, you know, I don't know, I can go through a million, where they inspire you. And then you have to go actually work hard to develop that.
Exactly.
And so not going and just pulling an AI and, you know, passing. Exactly. That's the cheating part, you know? So to me, a lipo is not cheating if you've been working out and you've tried really hard and you're really trying to be, or like for you, if, you know, now you were already exercising, but you didn't look as built, now you did what to get that level of success?
Exactly.
There's probably a lot of things.
For sure.
What were those things?
So for me, it was really understanding my body. So once I went into college, I knew it wasn't fast enough to run. And my college also didn't have pole
Like
vaulting.
professionally?
Yes. Yeah, professionally, like D1 track. I was like, I had a good 200, 100 time, but I wasn't that fast. So I'm very competitive. Grew up playing sports, running track. That's as competitive as it gets. So I wanted to stay active. I told myself, you're an athlete. So my aunt, I told her, I was like, I'm going to get jacked. She was like, you're not. And I took that.
Oh my God!
Well, but I love it.
If
and we
family
joke
member
about
doesn't believe in you,
exactly.
So then you either take that personally or you get pissed.
Exactly. But I mean, I have a very supportive family, like very
so
blessed.
Like, I'm
going to
prove you wrong.
But exactly. So you know, to this day, everyone I went to college with, there's no way you're just going to keep up with it. But they're seeing the size happen, and very similar to like you said, I saw the day where I just one day was like, whoa, okay, I actually noticed the muscle. Where I have clients, they just get started and they're 2 weeks in,
right,
and they're sending me a check-in picture, and they're just like, oh, I'm frustrated. I look at the pictures and I still look the same, and I'm like, that's normal. I can see that difference.
Right. This literally happens to me with every patient I do laser on.
Oh, I bet.
Every laser patient I have, because half of what I do, I don't know if you know a lot about me, but half of what I do is acne scar treatments. And some people, acne scars, skin color, tone, just irregular, like large pores and stuff, it makes them very self-conscious.
Yes.
Some people, they see that much more than everybody else.
Oh, yeah.
So you do a treatment, and I'll tell them it's going to be 3 or 4 sessions, and then your skin's building collagen. It takes time to remodel itself. Initially, it'll look better. Then it's going to look a little worse, and you have to keep going, using the skincare every day, doing the lasers every few months. And then 2 or 3 weeks goes by, and they're like, I spent all this money on the first laser, and I want my money back. It's not working. I'm like, that is not at all what I just discussed with you. Like, do you realize that I've been doing lasers since I was 27, every 3 months? I don't look 44, but that's because I'm doing these. I'm doing a peel right now. I do it all the time. And so consistency is the key. And people want to give up right off the bat. And so it just baffles me how they don't listen initially to that and understand the discipline and the sacrifices. And sometimes it's sacrifice in time. Sometimes it's in money. Sometimes it's in the hard work that they have to give in, or the things they have to give up to be able to do it. And so what happens when somebody comes to you and says, oh, 2 weeks, I don't look great. I don't want to do the program anymore. Or like, it's not working.
I have to instantly remind them. I'm like, you got to realize. They're like, I want to just look like you. I'm like, I've been doing this for 16 years.
16 years. Do they even understand what that means?
Exactly. Because my thing is,
a lot of work.
But I could also show you a picture of me last year, and I'm like, you're going to think I look great. You're going to be like, oh man, you were jacked.
That's how I am.
But I'm going to be like, no, like my shoulder, I didn't have as broad of shoulders. I definitely didn't have as big of legs. So I'm like, I'm still learning as I'm going. And that's the beauty, of the internet, is because now I'm able to see like, okay, wow, my form was horrible, even like 2 years ago. And now I'm able to make those adjustments. And it's just that consistency.
And you have to find the clients that are willing to kind of live through that.
Exactly.
Always altering, always improving.
Oh, yeah.
And this is what I tell people: when you have this severe scarring on your face, doing these treatments are forever.
Yes.
Like they'll say to me, how many treatments do I need to do? I tell them forever. They're like, what do you mean? I was like, well, initially you're going to do a lot more because I need to see the turnover quickly. I need to remodel your skin and get the improvement. But then after that, if you stop, your aging process occurs. So you'll start to see texture that worsens. Even if you just stop doing facials or skincare, your skin doesn't get radiant. It's not as even in tone. The pores are larger. It makes your scars look worse. So you have to do these treatments consistently forever. And so they're like, well, that's very expensive. Well, whole life is expensive because if you don't do something, then later something bad happens that's worse and it's more expensive.
Yes.
That's like if you don't exercise the way we're talking about now, then you're going to have a heart attack. So at some point that's going to be worse, right?
Yes.
So you guys, everything's an investment. Why do you think that skin would be any different, or your body? Your body and your skin require investment. I actually spend so much money on supplements. I have companies wanting to give me supplements for free. I don't believe in doing that because I want to pick the ones I think are great. Plus, I also think supporting companies, when you are successful, I don't think you should just take. I think you should actually give back.
Yes.
So I pay for all my stuff. I spend about $400 to $600 a month in just vitamins.
Wow.
Literally. And that is nothing compared to Brian Johnson. Okay. He's an entire wall of 134 supplements he takes per day.
Oof.
Don't quote me exactly 134, but go watch the thing. It's 130 to 40 per day. How much do you think that costs a month? I'm sure it's like a lot. He's got a lot of money. So he can. But what I mean by that is like just that alone is an investment.
Oh, yeah.
Right. And I'm willing to do that because I think it's going to make me live much longer.
For sure.
And I'm going to look better. But I still invest in that. So it's just like your skin. If I want my skin to look good, I have to spend hundreds of dollars a month on certain products.
Yes.
Right. And stay out of the sun and do a peel like I'm doing right now every month or two. With you, with training, what do people need to invest to be successful?
Honestly, their mindset. The way
but they still got to train with you.
They still have to train. Yes, they still have to train with me.
They still got to go to gym membership.
They still have to get the. They still have to get the
You're
gym.
right. I agree. There's a sacrifice. And there's a set. There's other innate things internally.
Yes.
Let's talk about that part. But then secondarily, tell people the things that they actually are going to spend money on. Because I want people to realize it's not just hiring you.
Oh yeah, no.
And then they're going to get this transformation.
You need to be eating the correct foods. I mean, these are just conversations I have with my clients.
And these foods, what do you think? Like, what are they eating?
Oh,
like, is it just like non-processed foods directly that they cook it themselves?
Non-processed. I mean, that's one of the things I was going to get into. I love to cook. So that was where I saw the biggest change in my body, was when I know exactly what's going into it.
Did you measure it?
So I never was a big measurer, but I'm also one of those people.
I'm not a measurer person either. That's why I was asking.
I know my body, and it's harder for me to put on weight. So for me to bulk, I would need to be really eating a lot of food. Okay. But I also know what the right foods is. I need to be going heavy on my carbs. I need to be going heavy on my protein. For the longest, to stay lean, as to stay with around 5% body fat.
That's very low, you guys, for
extremely low.
Very low for a male.
I was eating a salad every single day, because the way I look at it is, how fast would you be able to put down a Big Mac meal?
Pretty quick, actually.
Pretty quick. Probably, let's say 5-6 minutes.
The whole meal, like the French fries and the drink?
French fries and drink.
Probably 2 minutes. Probably. I eat really fast. I love fast food.
Oh, yeah.
Because remember, I had a 38 weight. So I could probably eat a Big Mac, a double cheeseburger, a quarter pounder, a what do they call McFlurries there, and a drink probably in less than 5 minutes.
That's amazing.
It's not amazing. It's bad.
I mean, it's cool
to an extent. But I've been able to control myself.
For sure.
But it's hard, actually. I think it's harder to eat like a steak
Oh yeah.
and rice.
Oh yeah.
And like, or a steak and vegetables and stuff like that quickly.
Oh
I
my
actually
God.
take much more time to do that. I try and do that. I can't. There's
can't.
something about what our brains have been trained with this fast food and things.
Yep.
You could eat it, and then there's some chemicals in it that make you want to eat more.
Exactly.
Or you get full immediately, and then an hour later you're hungry again.
Exactly. And that's
why
where
people
I was
like
just going to lean to that. So, you know, you're putting down a Big Mac meal, 2,000 calories. Let's round it
In
to
like
that.
no time.
In no time. Me eating a large kale salad, some chicken, some vegetables.
I hate kale, by the way. But I will talk
Everyone,
about that
kale
later.
gets the
Kale
worst
is
of rep.
so woodsy. It's so hard.
It's so good. I'll make you a kale salad one day.
Okay, I'll try it.
I've
So
done
then we
it
need
for
to do- now we
so
have to
many
do a
people.
Cooking video. We need
We
to do
do
cooking now.
We do need a cooking
I used
video.
to, just so you know, I used to watch a lot of Food Network.
Okay.
And I actually have a lot of famous chefs that are my clients. When I first started in New York, I had a lot of famous clients there because it's Food Network is there.
For sure.
So I had a lot of Food Network stars. So I always used to watch. Then when I realized time is money, I hate to say this. When you're an entrepreneur, I feel like if you do the cooking for fun on the days you want to do it for fun,
Yep.
but use your time to make money
Oh, yeah.
versus that. So now my assistant cooks everything. So I was like, I feel bad saying that because I know it makes me sound terrible, like and bougie and stuff.
Well,
but
you gotta
I
cut
work
the-
so much.
Yeah, no, you have
So
to
I
make
do
time
send
somewhere.
her these videos and stuff. She tells me kale all the time. I like iceberg and romaine lettuces, but sometimes I get kale thrown in there. I'm like, oh, why did you give me this? But
the
it's good
darker
for
the
you.
vegetable.
It is good for you.
Yeah.
Yeah. See, you're all about dark skin. That's the
Yeah.
thing. So everyone likes dark skin. No,
Yeah.
I'm kidding. But it's true. No, but I mean, kale is good for you. It's very California.
Oh, yeah.
It's very like Californians if you ever watch Saturday Night Live. But people love it. So I never really liked it, but I do eat it.
Oh, yeah.
When people give it to me. So you'll do kale salad, which actually makes you full very quickly.
Very,
actually.
very quickly. Actually, also makes you tired because your body has to break it down. But
Good fiber.
it's, let's say, in all, 500 calories, and I'm making my own dressing.
Yeah,
So,
that's the thing. So I used to not do any dressings, or I would do just vinegar.
oh yeah, no,
Vinegar and oil or something.
I'll
What do
give you a
make?
nice. I got a whole little
Okay,
recipe.
so we're gonna do this. We're gonna make specialized dressings that are healthy for you.
Exactly, but I know everything that's going into the food,
Yeah.
and
I believe though, I'm curious because if you know everything that's going in, and you're buying these like fresh, unprocessed foods, personally, I think anyone can eat that and get healthy. If you know it's just one ingredient, or I mean, let's say it's whatever you're making is just there's no chemicals or additives.
Oh, yeah.
I think that's all healthy for you.
oh yeah,
In my opinion. So if you just have like a steak or a fish or a chicken and you put some seasonings on there, that's healthy for any person.
oh yeah,
You know, it's what you combine it with and the things you, so because some people will go, oh, I'll do that. And then all of a sudden, like at my office, I see them pour some sauce. I'm like, what is that?
Yep.
And it's like so bad for you.
horrible.
The sauce.
Xanthium
I'm like, well,
gums
the
and the
salad is not even good. Then it's not even good anymore.
It's
for you.
not.
So that's where I think people go wrong.
It is. And also, like, I had a client of mine, I gave him the meal plan, and one of the meals in there was like this really good nacho recipe. Like, I've made it, I changed it up a little bit from the recipe he had. And I mean, it tasted like the classic Taco Bell nachos from
love
like
all those.
back
Years
in like
ago. Yeah,
2009.
years ago.
Oh, yeah.
Those were the best.
So good. And he was just like, yeah, I tried the nachos. Yeah, me and
What did he
my
add?
fiance got them when we were out. I'm like, whoa, stop.
Got what when we're out?
Exactly. I was like, did you give them the recipe and they made it for you at the restaurant?
Oh my God.
Exactly. So I'm like,
No, I want to know where did he go and what did he get?
oh, he ended up ordering nachos at like some bar.
Of course.
And I'm like, dude, you just put
packaged
down like
materials.
2,000 calories right
With
there.
tons of salt, tons of
of salt.
seed oil probably.
And for him, I'm like, you need to be measuring. See, for me, it's like, I know my body. I've gotten my body trained. I always I think of it like a car, you know. I saw the vehicles outside, but
I'm obsessed
you know,
with cars. I have car businesses, so that's why.
So, but you're not, going to take that car and drive it over every single pothole. You're not going to put like
Hell no.
non-name brand gas
I
in
barely
the
even drive
tank.
this shit because I like it so much. My partners in my car businesses, they get pissed that I have these cars. They drive like literally 80 to 100 miles. I don't even want to tell you
Yeah.
when they've been pulled over and for what speeds. I'm driving like grandma.
Oh yeah.
Like even my assistant wants to go faster. She's
Oh, yeah.
20 years older than me. And she has to drive. She's like, can I drive a little bit fast? I was like, as long as the speed limit and under, don't go in the potholes. But no, it's true. That's the problem is people don't look at their perspective of success for them to get that level. So they don't look at it in that perspective.
No.
So they'll maybe think they're making the right decision with one little thing for their body, but they don't realize what they're putting in their body now predisposes them to cancer,
Exactly.
to gut disease, and all of that internally can affect their hormones, their sleep. it's very easy if you say to somebody, look, if you drive a nice car, would you just drive over a pothole?
Exactly.
They understand that. So I like that you're giving them that sort of, connections, because then maybe they could see it a little bit better.
Oh no, you have to, and that's the way I even think about it. Just what you're putting into your car. It's like putting in the gas. I used to be that person where I'm like, man, let me look for that
cheapest one.
That cheapest one.
Always.
And then I realized,
brand,
I'm like,
the brand you've never even heard of.
Exactly.
Like, what is Arco? Never even heard of it. It's like two of them anywhere.
But then
it's cheap.
It's 10 cents less. So it's like, okay, you did all that. Your tank takes 16 gallons. You did all that to save $1.60.
I know, that's the thing.
And it's just like, you might as well just go to Mobile because it's the best gas for your car. Yeah. It's just like having
It's the same with skincare. Exactly. I talk about this all the time because I have my own line. I invested over $2.9 million to be able to work with scientists to make these products. We're developing new products all the time, and I have a huge celebrity grouping that's going to be coming out this year saying they use the products and talking about it because they have been for a couple of years. And the reason it cost so much was best quality ingredients.
Exactly.
I had to source them. I had to put together the formulas. We tested some of the biggest name products, and I don't even want to say who, but at Sephora and online, celebrities own them. And half is water, half is crap ingredients, things that they didn't even write are on there, are in there. And it's not good for your skin.
Oh, yeah.
And the stuff I have, within days, people see a difference. Okay. That's actually why these celebrities want to partner with me, because I gave it to them. And I'm like, use this for a month and show me what happens. And we'll take pictures. And they did. And they're like, shit, this is incredible, because I've used for years. And so it's all about the quality. And that's also why I'll come back to you is, why should someone train with you? Why should somebody, you building your brand, how does someone, and again, this whole thing is about people becoming successful, getting known by their clientele, and why their clientele wants to go to them, and why they become, a name brand type of thing.
For sure.
And a lot of that is because you're relatable, you believe in what's best for somebody, you're telling the truth, you're honest. I do the same thing. Why would somebody want to do training with you or nutrition with you over a million other people that are out there?
I think it was just honestly what you just said. I'm relatable, I'm honest, authenticity. For me, it's never about money, because I'm like,
money comes when you don't even
exactly. Think about it. And I always thought my way into fitness, I always wanted to get into fitness. I knew I had a great physique, but I always thought it was going to come from the acting and trickle its way down. I'm realizing everything else I'm doing is actually going to help the acting take off,
because more people will know you.
Exactly. So content, doing the training, doing the coaching, but it's also just a way to give back to people. You know what I mean?
Well, let me talk about that. So with the acting and sort of people getting to know you, I heard you were in a Shakira video.
Yes.
Talk to me about that.
Oh, that was a lot of fun.
About Shakira's hot, and you need to get her into me.
Oh,
I need to know who's doing Shakira's cosmetics. She's got to be doing something.
When I tell you,
because she's way older than people think she is.
When she walked up to me, we did this.
How tall is she? Very short.
Oh, she's super short. She's like maybe
tiny.
Yeah, like maybe 5'2", like very dainty. It looked extremely young. I thought that was a 20-year-old model. Young. I swear, I thought she was a 20-year-old model. We just did this. There was like this pool scene we had to do, and we were all freezing cold. We're standing out in robes.
47 years old. She's older than me.
Crazy.
She looks like a baby.
No, literally looks like a baby. Sweet woman.
Maybe I shouldn't steal her from wherever, from Colombia. Someone in Colombia, I bet, is taking care of her.
Yeah, she has Miami on her finger. But Miami, yeah, exactly. I ended up booking that, and it was an agent that I know through social media. He had followed me. He got me a gig that previous December. I was
what made him want to go with you for the video?
For the video, he literally hits me up. I literally looked at the audition tape the other day. He hits me up. He goes, none of my guys are booking this. And he works with like a lot of like big, strong dudes, good looking guys. And he was just like, can you try it? Like if you book, and we didn't know it was Shakira at the time. We just knew it was a big artist. And he was he's building his agency. So he's like, I just need a good credit for this. He was like, I will fly you out and I will put you up.
Where was it and what was it for? Like exactly, what did you do?
So literally, the description was be shirtless.
Okay.
Walk.
We know you got that accomplished. Check.
Exactly.
Easy for him.
Be shirtless. Okay. Walk and look as if all these beautiful women are reaching out to touch you.
Okay, we know you like women, so we're good at that one
Exactly.
too. And you will love a lot of women to touch you. So we're
Exactly.
good.
And I'm like,
You're like, that is the easiest thing I've
it
ever
was
heard
the
of.
cringiest audition I've ever done, just because like I had my friend film it, and I was like, it was so quick, and I was just like, hey, can you just film this? And he's like, yeah, sure. And I'm just walking in my living room, and I'm just like,
That's good. That's
it-
good.
put the suaveness, you know, you do the
Oh, I like it.
little
I
bit
like
of
it.
that, and it was just,
You
and
send that over.
and I sent it over to him, and it was probably the fastest response I've ever heard from an audition. It seemed fake, like it was like almost like, all right, it's
not
like
real.
this isn't real. And he was like, they love you, they're gonna put you on hold. I was like, okay, I've never seen someone find that out that fast. So it was actually when I was just starting to talk with the brand I signed with, the clothing brand.
That's the thing I want to talk about next.
Oh, perfect. So I was just like, okay, I'm waiting to hear back from them. Hands down, one of the greatest weekends I've ever had. Found out I was flying off to Scotland to do a shoot with them.
Wow.
And then in the same day, he hits me up. He goes, "You booked it. I'm booking your flight for Monday." It was Saturday. I had another shoot I was doing on Sunday, and I'm just like, okay, let me call my barber. Barber comes, literally have to get my hair retwisted because I just took it out of the style it was in. And I don't know if anyone on here knows about dreadlocks, but you also want to make sure that you have a fresh retwist for something like that. So literally, I think my flight was at 5 a.m. He books like the budget flight. I'm a person, I like to have options. I like to overpack. I'm literally bringing just a duffel bag because it was one of those flights where you only could have one bag and stuff like that. Lay over in Denver, get to Miami finally. We're thinking, we finally get the call sheet like maybe at 10 o'clock at night. We're thinking like, oh, there's no way that this is going to be like an overnight shoot. This is going to be really quick. So I think I had to be there by like 1 o'clock, get on set. We do the pool scene.
1 a.m.
No, 1 p.m.
PM. Okay.
Yeah,
day,
1 p.m. next day. And I was like, okay, this is cool. We did the pool scene, met her for the first time. Beautiful woman. Awesome. Like so
What
many
was in
great
the pool
things.
scene?
So we were just, it was freezing cold water.
Is this out already? Is it out?
It was out, yeah. La
Good. So we'll get
Punteria.
clips of that. We're gonna
Yeah,
get
La
clips of
Punteria was the song, and we found out Cardi B was in it as well.
Wow.
So they have us like in this pool, like a little kiddie pool, but like a bigger, probably like the size of this room, and we're like in the middle of the pool, stretching our arms out, and it was just one at a time. So I was the first one to go. So they're setting up the camera and everything. Wasn't until they're about to shoot that's when I instantly get cold, like shivering and everything. And so she's like, oh, like the director's like, oh, I love the back shot. Do that. Do this. I love the arm. Do that. So they switch us out. The next guy goes, and Shakira had pulled up. I didn't know it was Shakira. I thought it was a model coming on set.
Oh my God.
So we're there for a while. Then they're like, all right, all the guys can go. And they took our phones because it was a closed set, some studio in Miami. And we're waiting around again for the call sheet for the next day. So I was supposed to be leaving the Tuesday night at 9 o'clock. We don't get that call sheet until 6 a.m. We cancel the flight and book another one. Again, another budget flight. So you have to pay. And we're like, there's no way it's going to go that late. I'm on set. I'm like, dude, I don't think this is going to end anytime soon. But because, again, being just a good person, nice person, talking to all the crew, me and Lucien, he was the lead, the guy from Emily in Paris.
Oh, nice.
We are about the same size, like same height. I'm a little bigger, but about the same height. So I was filling in as his fit model. Those pictures were sent directly to Shakira. Long behold, she requests me to do a photo shoot with her.
Wow.
Yeah, so they're like, what is Tyler's rate? And they all think I'm living in Miami. So we're like, okay, what do we do? Like, so they ended up paying for my hotel, extended the stay. It was hands down one of the coolest weeks. I mean, I ended up staying a full week in Miami, which was really sweet. And that was like the first time I spent time in Miami.
And that really gave you an amazing
And
experience.
it's such an amazing experience. And when I tell you the year prior, because that was something I didn't mention. One thing I was one of the top sales guys with my sales job. So I always use that, and it keeps you comfortable. It keeps you, like, oh, okay, well, like this acting stuff and the modeling stuff, it's cool because it's just extra money. Mm-hmm. But now I was put in a position where that was my only source of income. So they ended up letting me go a little bit after Dahmer took off. literally out of the blue, I kept East Coast hours so I can work for the company in New York, one of the fastest risers in the company, top five, or sorry, I was top three for 5 years straight. And they ended up letting me go right before I was going to Europe with one of my friends. And
And they did that because you were spending time doing this other part of your life? Or
honestly,
what was the reason?
they claimed it was because I didn't call 5 accounts. I also had the most accounts in the company, like over 100 accounts, and I could tell them every detail about those accounts. And I'm like, all these accounts will renew. They they were like, oh, you didn't call them enough, and they're red flag accounts. I'm like, they're all going to renew. The earliest renewal was in December. This was in September, but I was just like, sometimes the way the universe
This is what we
operates.
talked about. Sometimes negative things can lead to big positives. So
The
did it make you really nervous at that point to have
Oh,
to not then devote everything?
well, I
'Cause you wouldn't have that security
100%.
income
And when
that you
I
actually, as a salesperson, can guarantee for yourself.
For
'Cause
sure.
the harder you work in
Exactly.
sales, the
And
more
that
you
was the
make.
thing. They hated seeing me coming because I was not leaving money on the table. Because I was just like, you're basically giving out free money with commission, salary, all this.
yeah.
So
That's
and
how a
bonuses.
salesperson should
So
be.
I always wanted to make sure I was hitting the highest bonus,
the most
high,
possible.
so you can make the
So
most
now
money.
it was investing in yourself.
Exactly. So all of 2023. So this was 2024 when I did Shakira. All of 2023, there was like a a bit of depression weighing on me. And I think this all plays a part in me getting into doing the online coaching, being able to give back to people, showing people if you change your mindset, you can change your life.
So how did this change your mindset? This event where everything had to be devoted now to you doing everything for yourself to make that money.
It changed me so much because it showed me it was possible. For a long time, it was really tough. I went through a lot of 2023 not booking anything and just having, a tough go, but somehow the bills was paid. Somehow, you would make enough money to pay the mortgage and pay the car. And I also have a great family, so they were helping me a little bit, but
Look, the biggest risks you take are either going to be super successful or you're going to
Exactly.
fail completely.
Exactly.
And if they fail, what's the big deal? You get back up and you figure it out.
Exactly.
And I actually, when I finished my fellowship in San Francisco, I got offered an amazing job as a first out dermatologist, hundreds of thousands, a ton, and I had and I came from nothing. So I had so much debt. And so I did the job and I did that for, a couple weeks, and I would drive. It was about 45-minute drive actually going there, but it was such a good opportunity. It was way more money. I would drive home, and every time I drive home from work, I'm like, I don't really like doing this. I don't care.
Yeah.
I was making a lot. But I would come home and I would tell my, at that time, boyfriend and my best friend, I would say, I don't really like it. They're like, and my boyfriend would say, well, who cares? You're making a lot of money. You just keep doing it, and then eventually you'll be able to do what you want.
Yep.
My best friend, who is a risk taker, who's now a multimillionaire tech entrepreneur, said, if you don't like it, fucking quit it.
As you should.
And I was like, well, what do I do if I quit it? He's like, I don't know. You figure out what you like to do. You're smart. You could be able to do it. Like, figure it out. And so I started doing, like, friends of mine would ask for Botox and fillers and stuff. And this is at the time when cosmetics were just starting to become bigger. And I remember I asked the wife of the practice owner, can I advertise in this gay magazine? I was like, people will come if I'm in it. And she told me no. She was like, those types of people won't come to us. And she wasn't meaning it in a negative way about gay people, but she was saying like that where it was being advertised was, I think, a less affluent group.
Yeah.
And where their company is very successful.
For sure.
Millionaires. And I was like, it doesn't matter what someone has. They're going to grow with you. And you never know. This person could be a wannabe actor right now and then be the most famous person in the world.
Literally.
And I'll tell you, I've had that with clients of mine. I started here 10 years ago. I had clients where they're on Disney Channel doing nothing and now are the biggest people you've ever seen.
I
on
already
TV.
know.
I mean,
Yeah.
it's insane of what people have developed. And so I ended up moving this, basically, long story short, I literally took everything and I moved to LA.
Yep.
For some reason in my mind, I said, LA is where everybody wants to be the best, they care the most about how they look. There's entertainment, people, looks and body and face matter,
Yes.
and it was against what everyone told me to do. And so I literally, a job that probably would have paid me $500,000 to $1 million my first year, it could have paid off all my loans, all my credit cards. I decide to move here and have nothing. I literally stayed in an apartment, the same apartment for 6 years, 7 years actually, where I had a bed, no furniture.
That's
all my clothes were lined up on the floor.
Yeah.
Not kidding you, for 7 years. My friends are like, why aren't you buying them? Because everything I have, I need to save and buy lasers and buy, like, do all this stuff to build my business.
I love that.
And now I have like multiple successful businesses. But no one sees all of that.
No.
No one actually knows and understands the sacrifices and discipline that it takes. They want the easiest route. And so I feel like sometimes you kind of have to be pushed to be able to jump into the water and see, or jump over jump over the fall to be able to see if you're going to be successful. So that was what happened to you.
I have it as my background. Your comfort zone will kill you.
I know. I love that. Actually,
And
it's a really good one.
It's so true, because what you said, I really take to heart, is what you said, where you called them, you're like, oh, we don't call them losses. And I never call a loss a loss. Why? Because it's a lesson. So for me, it's just sometimes it takes a long time for you to figure out what that lesson is. Yeah. And for me, it took about a year for me to figure out what that lesson was, but it was just staying persistent, keep going. Believe in yourself
and believing.
Exactly.
And that's what I did.
And what happened in 2023, I went to a new gym. I started going to Zoo Culture.
This is what we're going to talk about next.
And I literally just kind of was like, okay, I'm around all these influencers now. I'm around.
This is the influencer time.
Yeah. I'm around all these people betting on themselves. And I mean, I'm seeing kids like 12 years younger than me.
Very young.
And I'm like, they're driving McLarens, they're driving all this stuff. And whereas some people
need to come to me, anyone in Zoo Culture that would like to have your McLaren, your Ferrari, your Lambo, any exotic car wrapped, detailed, tinted, or modified, my brand will do that for you.
I love that.
And I would love to do this. You contact us, you let us know. No, I mean, just because someone has something fancy doesn't mean they actually have a lot of money, but if someone has that, they have some ability to get it.
Well, and also for me, it's like, I try not to be around anyone that is considered a hater, because I'm like, first off, if you don't have a hater, you're not doing it right. You know, so people only hate when you're doing something that they wish they could be doing. So,
well, the most successful people learn from the people that are better than them.
Exactly.
And you collaborate with those people to become successful. Exactly. If you look at the Kardashians, for example, who cares about what anyone thinks of them? They are one of the smartest business people I've ever met, because everything they do is some sort of collaboration that allows them to be more successful.
Exactly.
And so you could think anything you want about what you see of those, famous people online and on TV, but they made so many other people successful because of the collaborations that they did.
Amen.
So by going to Zoo Culture for you, that to me is like the ultimate collaboration when it comes to fitness.
Oh yeah.
Explain to people who don't know what Zoo Culture is, what it is in a short words.
Zoo Culture is a playground for adult children, I like to say. Basically, if you are into fitness, into bodybuilding, and you're also into content creation, this is the ultimate place.
Yeah, we're gonna actually show on the podcast one of the videos that I saw of you before with Eric Janicki, because he's a good friend of mine, and he said he would be on this too, and he said he would rep my supplements, so we got to call him. But when Eric started here 10 years ago when I did, I was one of his first training clients.
Oh, wow.
And we used to go to Ultra Body, actually fitness, on La Brea. And he was great. And that's when he first started dating his girlfriend, who's now his wife, and they have kids. Yep. So Eric was way smaller.
Oh, I saw a video.
He's a gorilla now, literally a gorilla. I'm actually take a picture of my gorilla statue upstairs. You can put Eric's head on it, because that's what he looks like. And I love it. But he's literally like a teddy bear, though. He looks like a gorilla, but he's a teddy bear. So there was a video I saw of the two of you doing squats and stuff like that. Yep. It's actually really funny. So I want to post that video on there. But that's like what Zoo Culture is. Zoo Culture was in influencing people, and I've never actually been there, but I know a lot of people from it, the influencing people to love and kind of get into being in the gym and being fit and kind of showing your workouts, but having fun with it.
Exactly.
So they make skits and they do a lot of funny things, but they do it in collaboration.
Yes.
That people that are there all have tons of followers. They're all very, very successful, but they share in that, and that's like, again, that culture portion. Mm-hmm. And I think the world has a lot to learn from that.
Oh yeah.
Because so many people that are successful, the first thing they'll say to you is, how much are you going to pay me for that? Or what are you going to do for me? Everyone wants to, what are you going to do for me? What are you going to do for me? I went to an event. Alec went with me, this like orchestra thing on Friday night. It was actually really cute. And there was no parking.
Yeah.
Okay. And I decided to pull up my $550,000 Rolls Royce to this valet. And the guy goes, "Oh, you can't park here." I'm like, "What do you mean I can't park here? It's a valet." He goes, "Well, the valet is only for the restaurant." I'm like, "Really? So $100 for a job that you only make $20 an hour, $100 tip won't allow me to park here?" And he's like, "No, of course you can. You can park here for sure. I would love to take your $100. I'm like, "You're a very smart man because I will give you a bigger tip when I come back and my car is in perfect shape."
Yeah.
And so I like to reward people
Yes.
for the nice things that they do.
For sure.
But people are not used to it. They're used to always asking for more, because so I could have said, "Oh, do you know who I am?" Or let's say I was a celebrity or something. I'm not like that. But let's say I could be like, "Oh, you know who I am? You should want me to park here." Or like,
Oh, yeah.
you could turn it around. My thing was, I know that guy works so hard. That job is a difficult job, And so if you have it, you should give back to those people. So that guy wrote me on Instagram,
Really?
found me, the one that runs it, and said, "If you know anyone, what do you do? And you know anyone that does jobs that I can make more,
That's
let
amazing.
me know." Because he saw that I was somewhat successful.
Yeah.
And I already connected him to somebody
love
that actually owns a huge valet company.
I love that.
And I had met him by also doing the same thing when I went to another restaurant that had no parking. Mind you, I also have a handicap placard for various reasons, and I didn't even use it because I wanted to give back to that guy. Because $100 to him for that night, is probably a lot more. And I remember the times when I was in New York in my training, and I was telling them like $300 to $400 a month extra. That's all I had. I would pay after I paid my rent, paid all of my stuff. I only had $300 or $400. That's like $100 a week, between $75 and $100 a week to eat, to do anything you'd want to do, buy whatever. How much could you actually do with that?
Yeah.
I used to eat hard-boiled eggs and shredded wheat. That's all I would eat all the time. And I would have one time a week, I would go to this Chinese place, and the woman there felt so bad for me that I could only afford to go once a week, that she would give me like a double portion for the same size. And it was steamed chicken and vegetables and 3 chicken dumplings.
Yeah.
And I would literally make it in 3 meals because I couldn't afford anything. And so now that I have a lot more, I love to do that, which is why I actually I created a non-for-profit for people that have been scarred and burned that we're going to start launching this year and raising the money for. I feel like people need to be like that. And that reminds me sort of what the fitness influencers have been doing lately in terms of collaborations, because they share their followers
and that's
with
the
each
thing.
other.
For me, like, Eric's following, he was one of the first people to actually reach out to me.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, when I was there.
Amazing.
And like, for me, I was like, I don't want to bother people. I wasn't a content creator realistically at the time. Like, maybe I did 1 or 2 things. You're trying a bunch of different stuff. I'm trying to do like, follow me with this ab workout or little things like that. And, Eric's comes up to me. He's like, "We need to get a workout together." And just super friendly guy. And this is a guy with I think, was he having like 1.6 million now? And
Eric's only got 0.1 more million than me.
Yeah.
on my personal Instagram. No, I'm kidding. But no, that's the thing. That's why the reason I wanted to bring that up was I feel like a lot of your growth has been through showing who you are in a personality, that truthfulness, the holding people accountable, talking about sacrifices and discipline, but also having these collaborations through some of the zoo culture. And I wanted people to see that success comes from working with each other, and working together.
Yeah.
And most people don't realize that.
No.
They think very egotistical. They're very arrogant, independent. I can do this for myself, and ask, what can they gain from it? And I think if you can change people's mindset into working collaboratively, a lot more people will be successful.
One of the best lessons I ever had was from a guy named Robert Beavers. He was a colleague of mine at my first job right out of college. He said, "It's never what you want, it's how can you be of service." So I've just
everybody's like that, though.
I have taken that with me throughout every facet of my life. And honestly, I've been blessed where it's paid so many dividends. Finding the brand that I signed with, just happened to meet them a year ago, almost to the day.
This is the last part I wanted to talk about.
Of course.
So let's go talk about the brand that you have signed with.
So I've signed with a brand called Define, DFYNE.
And how did they find you, and what did they do?
Honestly, I looked up in the sky. Cannot make this up. at the fitness expo, I see a sign that says Define. I'm like, what the hell is Define? Girl that is working at the same booth I was working at, she comes over. She's like, oh my God, I want to work with them so bad. Their CEO is here. So I was like, okay. Didn't really think much of it. Me and this one kid, we walk over, and it was all these girls working at this booth.
We know you like that.
Yeah.
That drew him over like bee in a beehive.
Oh my God. So like, we were just like, but I'm a business person. And also I'm not a
Business
person.
and pleasure. We'll talk about the pleasure on a different podcast.
Different podcast. But I'm also one of those people where it's like, you have to be professional. So wasn't going to go try to flirt with them, but I didn't know what they did. CEO comes over and he's like, oh, introduces himself. His name's Oscar. Great guy, super friendly. Instantly, we just connected like as if we knew each other for like years. And I'm telling him a little bit of what I do, got into acting, fitness, done fitness modeling, things like that. And he was just like, oh, wow, this is amazing. We're about to drop a men's line. We've only worked in women's athletic apparel in March. And he's like, we haven't scouted any athletes. As a business person, would it be possible to get your email? Shoot him an email. I'm thinking nothing of this. Like maybe I could get like a job, and go back to a 9-to-5 or something. Because I'm also assuming they're based here in Los Angeles. And emails me back 2 weeks later, right before the Shakira shoot. And he literally goes, would you hop on a call? Hopped on a call with him. He was like, we all looked at your social media and we just think you seem like the type of guy that anyone could walk up to you in the gym and you're going to help them out.
Yeah, I love that.
And that's exactly what we are about. He was like, I'm seeing that you're starting to take social media super serious. He was like, my first video just went viral, like I think that weekend.
Oh wow!
So
it's like
it was like meant to be. So like obviously there's a sales component.
When was that initial meeting?
So we first met at the Fit Expo last year. So let's say around
how quickly
January
after
20th.
that did they sign you to do what? What are you doing with them now?
So now I am their first male athlete, kind of like a face of the men's side of the brand. So I've been on every activation, been blessed to go on every trip that they've had. So they're based in Scotland. So Scotland has become
what do they have?
So they have
Fitness clothing?
fitness apparel, yes.
Oh, nice.
So everything from leggings, the shorts, tops, men's shorts, tops, joggers, sweats, also some accessories for the gym. So that's their main focus. Where I actually was like, oh, how come you guys don't do this? He was like, a lot of brands screw themselves over by trying to focus in too many different avenues, attacking different sports. He was like, I want to make people feel good in the gym, and it all starts with what you're wearing. And that's their whole brand identity. It's just make people feel good.
Actually, I do a lot of workout videos.
For sure.
With Alec. What we should do, we'll do one together.
Yes.
But we'll wear their stuff.
For sure.
And do some promotion for it.
That'll be amazing.
Give them content, whatever they want. I don't need anything. It's fine. I'll buy the clothes. You just tell me. But I right now we're all ASRV.
Okay.
I love ASRV. So I've always wanted. So Define. You're gonna have to switch me over.
I think the next drop, I think you're gonna like, if you like the ASRV stuff. I literally just got back on Wednesday. I think this podcast was supposed to happen a little sooner, but I texted Alec. I was like, oh, I'm gonna be in Scotland, and he was like, no problem. We'll push it to Monday. But
no, it's good. We'll watch the drop.
Yeah.
Let's get some of that clothes.
Oh yeah.
And we'll make a cool video, a few of them that we can promote and give. And if they want it,
are you a colorful person? Like,
I'll wear anything.
You like,
doesn't matter to me. I'll wear pink. I'll wear everything. Honestly, I'll wear nothing. You want me to give? If you guys have like 2 inches, 3 inches, I'm good.
Sounds good.
I don't care. I'll show off whatever you
We'll
I
get some. I
think I look good. See, here's the thing. I love brands that show the athletes. Like your workout athletes, your life, right? I'm a professional that likes to be fit. I think that's different. So brands that put real life people into their marketing. Oh yeah. There's not many that do. Mm-hmm. I've actually been approached by numerous brands too. I haven't done it yet, but I would do it with someone because I work out to try and show real life people that just work 9-to-5s or longer, like I do 12, 14 hours, that you could still go into the gym and do fitness videos and look like you're very fit. Yes. My goal in the future for myself is to kind of not be signed with a company like that, but kind of partner with one where I'm like, look, send me clothes that you want me to start to promote. I'll make videos and give you a ton of them, or send me your fitness people and have them do workouts with me, or I'll bring in other people that are just regular guys, but that look so fit.
Oh yeah.
that want to be wearing it and be like an athlete, but they're not.
And I feel
you know?
like that's the vision for them
For the future?
For the
Yeah, so
future,
maybe
because it
it'll be
all
a
kind of,
good-
because especially since they're so new in the men's side, but
Well,
literally the
maybe that's a
whole
partnership in the future.
their whole branding is literally just make people feel incredible.
See, and that's
so
and that's what I do,
Yep.
and that's what you do. So it ends up working out. Might
And
be a good partnership.
every piece of clothing inside, it literally says "Let nobody define you."
Oh, I love that.
Yeah.
That's fucking great. That's
So
really great.
So definitely great. We'd
I
love
love
to.
that.
I'm gonna
No, that's
plug my
great.
code here. So if anyone
tell 'em.
anyone watching, code Prince PRINCE. That will save you money on your order, but define DFYNE.com. That's
Yeah,
actually
let
there.
them know. Show them my Instagram. Show them some of the videos
For
you
sure.
do, and let them know, because I'd be open to doing something with them long term, including making videos with you,
Oh, yeah.
other models or whatever. But I definitely want to do that anyways for myself, just for fun.
Yes.
But I think you'll see. If I put TikTok live on, when we go, it's thousands of people.
Oh, love that.
I don't know if you've ever done. Do
You know,
TikTok lives?
I need to start doing the lives.
So we should try it. We do
Let's do
video
it.
because my TikTok live gets thousands.
Okay.
Because I can't show a lot of things on TikTok now.
Yeah.
Because mine was a doctor TikTok.
Yes.
The TikTok he's making is my personal one, but my doctor one's very popular. Has a lot of people. So I can't show this stuff anymore
Yeah.
because blood, they
Yeah.
cut it out, all this stuff. I get blocked all the time. So now when I go live from working out, it gets nuts.
Oh, yeah.
Because people are like, oh my God, he's got no shirt on and this and that or whatever. So, and I always, I'll be like doing a whole workout and stuff. So we could actually promote it and do a live thing.
Yeah.
It'd be kind of fun. But I think it'd be cool, like if that's a brand you believe in,
Yes.
and you're repping them, and it actually has the same philosophy
Oh, yeah.
of what you're doing with your life, and it's very similar, honestly, that I do. I think that's something you pursue.
Oh, yeah.
And I think that goes to show people what you believe in.
Oh, yeah.
You believe in, don't let anything define you. Let you be yourself, be authentic, but be determined.
Oh, yeah.
If you have a goal, set that goal, make it happen. If if somebody's pushing you down, make the decision to make the change and see what happens.
Yeah.
Because if you fail, you fail. There's nothing you could do. At
And-
that point, you would probably have enough friends around you and family that can help you get right back up and make it happen.
Honestly, when they're back in LA, which most likely will be soon, probably this summer, I got to bring the CEO on
Yeah, let's
because
do it.
his story is
That I would love,
similar to mine in a weird way of like just
is
kind
he
of
fit too or no?
failures. He's in the process
just
of getting
believes
back.
in it. So maybe I get him on a peptide plan.
Extremely fit.
I would love to get him on a peptide plan.
He would be very open.
So
to
we could tell him about it, have him contact, and what I'll do is I'll do a virtual call with him, and then when he comes here, I'll have him come to my office. We'll
Yeah.
make a video of it, get him on a plan, and then we'll do a podcast.
Perfect.
But I would love to do, like, honestly, I think it'd be fun. I always have wanted to do this. I told him from the beginning that my goal long term was to work with a fitness brand and influencers to promote the building of confidence,
Yes.
the building of independence and uniqueness. Because, like you say, are you into colors? One of the first brands I actually worked with was a brand called Legends a while ago. And the reason
heard of
I
Legends.
liked them originally was every 2 weeks or 3 weeks, sometimes a month, they would have a drop of a few new shorts.
Yep.
But they were always like a color or a pattern. And you'd be like, that's weird, like cheetah and stuff like that. But then like when you had it
like
on,
that.
you were like, it kind of gave you this like empowerment.
Oh, yeah.
That's not the normal, like just black,
Yep.
brown, white. And people would look at it and be like, that pink looks good on you. Like I had big dudes in these gyms, like the gym I go to in the morning here. I'm not kidding you. It's all ripped black guys. I
Oh,
swear to God, I'm the whitest person in there. And I love it. I love it because I get there at like 4:45, 5 o'clock.
Ooh, okay.
And there are girls that have bigger, double the size legs as me.
Yep.
Who have already done full leg workouts and did step mill for an hour.
Yep.
I'm kidding you. I'm not kidding you. This is the most motivating. Like if you look
that.
tired when you walk in there, you can't be because
we
these
definitely
girls
gotta
have
train
been
together.
there for over an hour. Yeah, you
Yeah.
gotta come with me. So we go there. I'll go there and I'll be in like this bright yellow or this pink or whatever. And I was like scared at first because I'm like, it kind of doesn't fit what all these people wear. And then someone come over and be like, man, you look great in that pink.
Yeah.
And I was like, whoa.
Yeah.
And then now one of the girls that trains there, she's actually been on my podcast, Imani. She has orange hair and she wears color outfits all the time. Now, a year before, she did not.
I love that.
And I said, what made you want to do that? She's like, I saw the shit that you were wearing. She's like, I just wanted to do whatever I wanted. I didn't care.
love that.
So she's like, I'm doing orange one more time. I'm going to pink. It's like, it allows people to feel, empowered by being themselves.
Oh, yeah.
But it's supportive.
Yeah.
And so, that's what's cool about it. You may not be the person that wants to have that uniqueness, but you can respect it and understand it, and like you'll be appreciate it, and then maybe it convinces people enough to make a change, to be a
Yes.
little bit different. And different is sometimes great.
Yes.
And so it kind of sounds like the brand that your brand is like that.
Yes.
Like nothing really defines you.
Exactly.
Like
and,
type of thing.
And it's one of those things where I feel like it kind of fully encompasses my story, where it just
Nice.
shapes everything, and it gave me a reason to continue with the social media, continue with the content. And then I'm seeing how much my content, because they also was like, we don't want you to change anything about your content.
That's
your
nice, 'cause a lot of
comedy,
people
things
do
you're
that. They
doing.
try and make you different.
We love seeing that because it's about you. And the CEO told me, he's like, I fully believe you're going to be $1 million athlete for us. I'm going to be giving you $1 million check because you're just going to be bigger than life. And I was like,
Let's get
dude,
him
the
now. Let's
belief
get him
that
filmed now.
the belief that you have in me, it empowers you.
That's great.
Literally, it just makes you feel incredible. So it's like, how can I pass that on? So it's just like, okay, I do the acting. I can help people that ask me questions on how to get into that space. Or if I have a brand deal or something, I'm more than happy to always introduce those people to get them connected, because there's endless seats at the table. But with fitness, it's like, how can I help people? Let me start online coaching. Now I'm not only helping people in my immediate area, I'm able to help people everywhere.
Yeah, it's great.
So, you know what I mean? So it's like, if you want to be coached by me and you want to, be able to speak with me, be able to pick my brain on different things, I just want to be able to help you change the way you think, the way you see yourself, because that's where it all starts. I'm literally actually going to drop a video on my social media this week. My 4 biggest components to muscle growth: sleep, diet, consistency. And then the final one is actually like your progressive overload, but working out. Like, people always think it's like, oh, I got to lift this heavy weights.
And we add in hormone optimization, peptides, and supplements.
Exactly.
You can add that and tag me, and I will collab your post.
Yes,
because
sir.
I think all that is needed, but then there's some people, like, you're genetically enhanced, right? Some people have that. They're the top 10, 20%. They just look this way, and the more they do, it's even better.
Yes.
Right? Some people don't have the genetic ability.
Oh, yeah.
And so they have to make a lot of changes to get to where they go.
Oh, yeah.
And so if they do all those things, it's like 80% there.
Yeah.
Right? They need sometimes that extra. And sometimes you'd be surprised. It's medical.
Yeah.
You don't realize it's stress. It's other things that are affecting them internally.
Oh, yeah.
So you guys, it's Tyler Prince. I'm very excited that he's here. We're going to post his Instagram. We'll post a lot of different things from this podcast, and you will see him soon with some great workout videos. I'm telling you right now. Also, we'll do some collabs in some of his posts so we get a little bit more notoriety for him, and you guys can see everything that he's doing, which I think is great. Take care.
Thank you guys so much.